Welcome back to my channel. Today, I will be sharing how I break down a whole chicken into simple steps so that it's not an entirely intimidating process for someone who might be in need of these kitchen skills. But before we get started breaking down this whole chicken, I wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit about where our food comes from and how chickens are commonly raised here in the US. My husband and I would love to raise and grow as much of our own food as possible someday. That has always been a dream of ours. Having a bit of land, a garden, maybe some chickens, and being more connected to the food we eat. But for now, like most families, we rely heavily on the options available in the grocery store. And because of that, I think it is important to understand at least a little bit about how commercial farming works and how food gets from the farm to our kitchens. Most chicken sold in the grocery stores today comes from large-scale commercial farming operations. These farms are designed to produce a large amount of food efficiently and affordably for millions of people across the country. In many commercial systems, chickens are raised indoors in climate-controlled barns where temperature, lighting, food, and water are carefully managed. This helps farmers protect the birds from predators, disease, and harsh weather, while also allowing food production to happen year-round. Modern chickens are also bred to grow very quickly compared to chickens decades ago. Many grocery store chickens reach market size in just several weeks. This system helps keep chicken one of the more affordable protein options for families, but it also leads to conversations about animal welfare, nutrition, and farming practices. Another thing many consumers may not realize is that chicken processing is highly industrialized. After the birds are raised, they are processed, packaged, refrigerated, and transported through a very large food supply chain before arriving at stores. Now, that does not automatically mean the food is unsafe. The US has food safety regulations and inspection systems in place, and many farmers work very hard to care for their animals and provide food for the country. But I do think it is wise for consumers to stay informed, ask questions, read labels, and learn basic kitchen skills. That is one reason I think learning how to handle and prepare whole foods is so valuable. Knowing how to break down a whole chicken can save money, reduce waste, and help us become a little more connected to the food we are serving our families. So today, I'm going to show you step by step how to break down a whole chicken at home. It may seem intimidating at first, but once you learn the process, it becomes a really useful kitchen skill. The first tip right out the gate is before I start working with chicken, I always like to sharpen my knife. A sharp knife will cut right through the chicken skin and bones and will reduce the need for sawing. When you start sawing, that's when things get really dangerous. So the first thing I'm going to do today is to sharpen my knife. I am not the best at knife sharpening, but this is what I do. It sharpens my knife, and then we can get going. I have already cleaned out my kitchen sink, and now I'm going to get started with the chicken. I am going to put it on its back, and the first thing I'm going to do is to take off the legs. Again, with a sharp knife, this process happens 1, 2, 3. So now the legs are removed. The next thing I'm going to remove will be the wings. If you don't mind, you can leave the wingtips on. I will be removing them for this process. I also like to remove most of the skin before I cook the chicken. So you're going to see me cutting slits into the chicken skin because later in the video, I will be removing most of the skin. So now I have the legs off and I have the wings off. Now I'm holding the chicken by the back of the neck and I'm sliding my knife right underneath the skin as I remove that skin from the back layer of the chicken. Now the chicken is on its side and I'm going to cut away the skin. If you don't mind the skin, you can leave it on based on the application of how you're going to be cooking the chicken. But unless I'm roasting chicken, I like to take as much of the skin off as possible. So I'm just using my knife and I'm gently cutting away the skin. And as you can see, this comes off quite easily. So now I'm going to remove the thigh portion of the chicken. There is a bone there that you can break. So that's what I just did. I broke the bone and then I'm going to remove the thigh on either side. So now I'm going to take the chicken and cut it right down the middle, removing the entire back portion of the chicken. Again, with a very sharp knife, this is very simple to do, but I do caution you, the chicken bones can be sharp, so you have to be careful when handling this. I'm going to cut the chicken now, the back of the chicken right under the rib cage, and then I'm going to cut the bottom portion in half. These are portions that work for my family, but again, this is how I break down the chicken. You don't have to do it exactly this way, but I find this to be the most efficient way. What I'm doing right now is I'm removing those interior soft tissues and organs that may have been left behind when the chicken was processed commercially. And don't worry, we're going to do a thorough cleaning right after this. So that's the neck of the chicken. And now I'm left with the breast meat that is still connected to the bones on the front of the chicken. I'm going to cut this right down the middle. And I might have to put a little force to break that breastbone in the middle. And then you'll see that the breast meat starts to separate from that back piece, and that leaves me with a nice fleshy chicken breast on one side. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I have two large pieces of breast meat there. There's a little bit of breast meat still attached to some bones, so I'm just going to break that in half for both sides. And just like that, we've broken down a whole chicken. That took less than 10 minutes, and the longer you do this, the quicker it will become. So I'm left with two large pieces of breast meat. I'm left with two wings, two thighs, two legs, and then some individual pieces that were connected to the back and the front of the chicken. Like I shared earlier, I like to remove as much of the skin from the chicken before I cook it for my family. That's just our preference, but if you like to cook your chicken skin on, you can leave the skin on if you so please. So I've already removed most of the skin, but there's still skin on the chicken legs and the chicken wings. So I'm going to use a piece of paper towel to improve my grip because the chicken does get a little oily. And I'm going to show you my trick for removing the skin from the legs and the wings very quickly. So if you remember, I made a slit in the piece of my chicken wing earlier. So now I'm just taking my paper towel, I'm gripping onto that piece of skin that was cut off, and then I'm just going to pull that all the way down the chicken wing and it comes off clean. So I'm just going to do that for the 2 legs and the 2 wings because the rest of the chicken pretty much has most of the skin already removed. Over the last several weeks, I have been roasting chicken nonstop back to back because that's what my family has been enjoying. And so I make what they enjoy. And so I have not needed to break down chicken in a while. But when I do break down chicken, I can take it and make it into several meals. So this is a very vital kitchen skill I believe we should all try to master. When you buy the whole chicken, you are in full control. You can break it down and make one meal, or you can break it down and make several meals. Now, someone might say, I could just go to the store and buy the chicken parts. Well, that's true and convenient. It's often a little bit more expensive. If I buy the whole chicken, I can break it down into the desirable parts that I would like to eat and my family would like to eat, and then I can take the other parts and turn it into something else. In this case, I was making a pot of soup. I was also going to be making curry chicken, and I was also going to be making bone broth, all from one chicken, and to feed my family of 5 over several days. So I have broken down the chicken. What I'm going to do right now is to wash my cutting board and wash my sink. Now, people might say you shouldn't be washing your chicken. I'm not washing my chicken in soap and water. Let's get that right. But I'm washing my utensils right away so that any germs, any bacteria will be taken care of right away. And then I'm going to rinse my chicken in cold running water. You can also put your chicken in a bowl and you can rinse it or wash it, whatever terminology you would like to use, in lime juice, lemon juice, or some vinegar, whether plain white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. That helps to prepare your chicken for seasoning. Chicken is processed commercially. Many hands have touched that chicken before coming to your house. And it gives me peace of mind to know that I am cleaning the chicken as best as possible before serving it to my family. We can't just open the package, throw it in a pot, and get cooking. No, we have to take the time to really clean the chicken before we get started with cooking it. So I'm going to clean my cutting board. I'm going to clean my sink really well. In this case, I'm using as hot water as I can tolerate. And again, I'm cleaning all the surfaces. I cleaned my surfaces before handling the chicken, and now I'm going to clean my surfaces after handling the chicken. So now my sink is clean, but now I'm going to clean all the individual pieces of the chicken. And yes, I'm going to go and clean my sink again after that. This is a whole process, you guys. It is, but this is what you do for safe handling and to ensure that you're serving your family the best quality food possible. So I'm going to wash each individual piece underneath the running water. And you'll see throughout the video that as I'm washing the pieces of chicken in the water, I'm removing any excess skin or fat deposits. And overall, I'm just making sure that I'm removing any undesirable pieces from the meat before serving it to my family. At the end, you will see that the chicken is clean. It's ready to go, ready to soak in any type of seasoning you would like to put on there. So again, this is my second round of cleaning. I have just broken down the chicken, cleaned my surfaces, cleaned the individual pieces of the chicken, and now I'm going to clean my surfaces again. To clean your surfaces, you can use dishwashing liquid. I like to put a little bit of baking soda sprinkled into my sink. Whatever you'd like to use. Some people like to use harsher chemicals. That's your choice what you would like to use. But whatever cleaning supplies you normally use, you grab for that, and then you clean your surfaces again. I have been doing this before I became an adult, a wife, and a mother, and I will continue with this practice because I really do feel like we have to be in control of what we're putting on our tables. And that starts with how we prepare the food. Kitchen cleanliness is really important. And I know a lot of people are worried that juices are splashing all over my kitchen. Again, clean your surfaces well before, during, and after you prepare the meal, and you should be fine. Now that my chicken is clean, I can turn it into whatever I'd like to make. My family enjoys jerk chicken, curry chicken, oven baked chicken, whatever you like to eat. This is now ready for any seasoning blend you can put on here. I hope in this video today you were able to learn how to break down a whole chicken. I hope you got some value from what I shared, that buying a whole chicken is more cost effective. If you're living frugally, it's one way you can cut costs at the grocery store, and one way you can ensure your family is enjoying many options without breaking the bank. Again, learning how to handle and prepare whole foods is a valuable kitchen skill. I hope this video was helpful for you. Let me know down in the comment section, do you buy the whole chicken or do you buy the chicken in parts? I would love to hear what everybody else is doing in their kitchen. Thanks for being here today. Thanks so much for always liking, subscribing to my channel, and sharing my videos with others. As a reminder, my 2 cookbooks are available on Amazon for purchase now. The first book is all about scratch cooking, Simply Homemade, and the second book, Simply Fresh, is all about cooking and baking with freshly milled flour. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section down below. I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, be well.